Hello everybody, today I'm recovering gold with only salt and vinegar. Now, I'm making this video in response to a few comments on my last salt and vinegar video. Some people thought that the video title was misleading as I used hydrogen peroxide to start the reaction. Now, I did say in that video that you could do this reaction without the hydrogen peroxide, so today that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this air bubbler instead. I'll also be answering a few questions along the way. So let's get started. Here I've got 450 grams of fingers. I expect around about a gram of gold from these, going on previous experience. I'm just going to add some vinegar. That's just regular household vinegar used for your cooking. And one other question that I've been asked is, can you use a plastic container? Now I presume you mean to do the reaction in, and the answer is yes. That's what I'll be using today. So I'll add around just over a litre of vinegar, maybe a litre and a half. There's no real measurements for this. Guesswork is fine. And then I'll just pour a bunch of salt in. Again, don't need to weigh this out, measure this out. That should be fine. All that's left to do now is mix it up, put the air bubbler on, and then we'll check it again in 24 hours time. Here's a little close-up look. If you see, the bubbler's not on a high setting, it's on quite low, just enough to add that little bit of oxygen to the solution. You can actually do it without the air bubbler, but it will take a long time. I reckon this is going to take around about 9 days. Right, so we're 24 hours in, and as you can see, it's a lovely light blue colour. That's the copper going into the solution and making copper acetate. So it's working. I'm going to mark this off every morning, just so that I know how many days it's taken. There you go, day 1. We'll check back on this in probably a week's time. I can carry on and do some other things. We're now on day 7, and as you can see, the solution has gone very blue. Try and get it close up. You'll see that some of the foils have actually lifted. It's getting close. Take a little closer look at that in a sec. I reckon another couple of days and this will be done. But just to make sure that there's enough solution for the copper to go into, I'm just going to add another couple of 100 ml of vinegar and a splash more salt. That should do. A few more days and these will be done. Day 11, and it looks like all the copper is in solution. All the gold falls have lifted. So now it's time to start the boring task of filtering the solution and spraying down the fingers to make sure all the gold's off. I'll get it all in a filter and I'll be back to you in a bit. While the falls finish filtering, I'm going to answer one of the other questions I get asked is, can you recover the copper from the solution? And the answer is yes. There's multiple ways of recovering the copper. You can put a piece of steel in there and exchange ions with the copper. You'll be left with a solution of iron acetate and copper metal. You can use electrolysis, or you can use the method which I'm going to use, and that's to convert the copper acetate to copper carbonate using sodium bicarbonate solution or baking soda. And all you got to do that is add your sodium bicarbonate. This is going to neutralize the solution and it's going to precipitate an insoluble salt. And you just need to keep adding sodium bicarbonate until the reaction stops fizzing. This is going to take a while, so I'll show you the results of that a little bit later on. So the next question that I get asked is, can you melt the flakes directly? So that's what we're going to do next. There's our flakes. I'll just trim this down. Sprinkle the borax. And get melting. And get everything into the crucible. The flakes themselves started to ball up into little tiny balls and then stick to the side of the crucible. So in a moment you're going to see me have the great idea of lifting the crucible to try and collect the little gold balls and congeal them all into one ball. And at that point I actually thought, the gold's gone, the video's over. But there was that much borax in there, as you can see. It's still there. Put a bit more borax in there. We'll do this again. This time I'm going to just melt it as it is, get into a nice button, and then we'll take a look at it. And that's one ugly button. I'm just putting it into another crucible here, just a bit more borax, just to try and clean off some of the contamination in there. And that looks a little bit better. Well, next thing to do is get me hammering rock out and just knock some of that borax off. And I can take this then to the to be weighed. So we have 1.5 grams, but due to this comment, I'm going to use Archimedes' principle of buoyancy to determine the purity by dividing the weight of the gold by the weight of the water that it displaces, and checking the result against the density chart. So if we do 1.573 and divide that by 0.098, that gives us 16.05. And if you check this specific gravity chart, you'll see that it's around about 20 carat, or between 19 and 20 carat. And if you look at it next to this piece of 24 karat gold, you'll see why I like to refine it. The 24 carat is just stunning. This 20 karat gold's just dull. So in conclusion, yes, you can recover quite high purity gold using only salt and vinegar. You can also recover your copper as copper carbonate. So if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, all that sort of thing, and I'll see you on the next one.